Hey Johnny, so I talked to you guys at the scrim about Icebox, like you said, and on these lines where talk about like where the attackers start and where the defenders start, and this is just like basic like concepts of how the defenders start stuff at the barrier, the attackers start with the stuff at the barrier, and everything in between is neutral space. Okay, so you have to fight for all of this. Now, some is more attacker or defender sided, right? Like it's easier to gain control of garage for attackers than it is for defenders and of like this space. So they can take these two kind of for free, right? Same thing, they can walk up to belt and A main mostly for free, unless the defenders like dump utility and take this stuff mostly for free. And the defenders have similar spot, take this stuff mostly for free. This is where you're getting like a little deeper into map control and you're figuring out what neutral space is fought. And from there, you have what people are actually fighting for, which is dotted white stuff. And these are where you want to take your fights if you're actively contesting map space. So if we go to, first of all, you can do this on any map. Okay, here's what the attackers start with, what the defenders start with. What are they fighting for, right? Oh, okay, well, it's just this stuff. It's really that simple. And if you look at it like this, then you'll understand why on Ascent, for example, mid is easier for attackers to take. Because the defenders have to hold all this space. And you just pop this smoke, and now they can't hold it as easily. They don't have this line of sight anymore to help them out. Or this one. So that's a lot easier for you as attackers to isolate the bottom mid guy and take all of this for yourself. Anyways, you asked about Fracture. Let me read the question again. Similar zones to be fighting on Fracture. Should I be consistently fighting for the mains as a defender, or should they be played a bit more passive? What are some good rules of thumb to be able to understand these lines and find them easier on my own? Is it as simple as just realizing the angle? Well, I guess I just talked about the lines and realizing them on your own. Is basically just saying, where do people have to fight for this neutral space? When should I be contesting that? So like on Fracture, like this neutral space of like here, it's very difficult to contest, and frequently you don't really want to contest it. Or like way back here in arcade, it's like hard to contest. Same thing, like this area of drop, pretty hard to contest. This area of main, pretty hard to contest. Now you could actively contest these dotted parts, and this is much more easy, and you'll see people contesting these much more frequently. So this is typically where you want to put your best efforts. This is just how you should be thinking of all the maps. Okay, so this is the defender start, and then the attacker start. So as you can see on Fracture, there's a lot for the attackers to fight for, similar to Lotus. However, there are 4 lanes that the attackers can focus on, and if they get a main, it becomes 5 lanes. So it's not that bad for attackers. But you can already see that sand is basically for defenders. And then there are these little bits that are easier for attackers to have. Like they get a main off rip if they, well, they should get a main off rip. Pretty hard for the defenders to contest these red areas. Even here, it's like kind of hard. So as a defender, I'm really trying to contest these green areas here. Okay. These are where I can safely take fights. And the reasons for this is utility is really strong in these areas. And as you push out further into their spawn, your utility becomes less strong. There's more cover and stuff. That's why you'll commonly see people do like north side pinches, because now it's safe to push out in their spawn because you're pinching. Aside of that, it's like really difficult. I typically fight on Fracture. I don't really fight for this this B main space because it's just hard unless you pop like a brim smoke like this. Even then, like you didn't gain much unless you pop flash out of the smoke. So I don't typically fight for B main. I let my like Jet handle that if she wants to go with breach or KO or whatever. But I like to fight for A main, arcade, and drop. And these are just really easy, strong places to fight for, especially if you have a pop flash character, because this is just a wide open flash zone. If you've been watching any Illusion lately, you'll know he's obsessed with his flash zones. And if you just look, I mean, look at this wide open ass space, right? It's like it's literally free real estate, right? Fighting arcade, you want to get them this open space here, that's free real estate. They're dead, right? If they're like in B main and you flash them, they're dead. Or in A main and you flash them, these motherfuckers are dead. Drop is my personal favorite. I played Phoenix drop a lot because the orb is easy and this pop flash is crazy. You just want to contest these areas with utility and mix it up. The biggest mistake I see for people on Fracture is that don't mix up where they're fighting for and they don't fight enough. The caveat to that is you shouldn't be fighting for something every round. I like to have like a nice half and half, where like half and half, like I'm fighting and then I'm moving and like rotating very quickly. But that's on Brimstone. Playing like a Jet or a Killjoy, that changes. But if you're playing Initiator or Smokes, then say fight half and half. Duelist, try to fight almost every round. Fight in these zones. I mean, yeah, you don't want to play passive on Fracture. You want to be very, very, very active. I think Fracture is a great map for learning your gamble timings and stuff because you have to be very active. So I'd say realize as well, because commonly when I give Fracture advice, the follow-up is they end up like losing more because they push out too much. Then realize as well that you can play actively by rotating. That is an alternative form of playing actively. You're not active like in the beginning because you'll be like sitting here, listening for noise. Then you rotate very quickly, and now you're active on the site hold, which is nice. Yeah. If you got anything else specific, just ask more.